What's up? Welcome to the channel. Appreciate you coming.
We came?
Yeah.
We came.
Neil72, thank you for being here. Appreciate you.
Neil.
All right. We're going to be talking about Trump announces Maduro was captured. What happens next? Now, I got some videos I'm going to go ahead and play. This first one is when all this happened. Let me go ahead and bring it up.
The vice president, Delcy Rodriguez of Venezuela, took earlier to state TV in Venezuela demanding proof of life of Maduro. But it's pretty apparent that it's unclear who is running that country right now. You're looking live at some of the strikes that were carried out there. Do we have any more indication about who is running the country there now, and whether or not any of the other individuals like the vice president and others associated with Maduro's regime may be targets still?
What's notable, that statement from Venezuela's vice president confirming the news from President Trump that President Nicolás Maduro and his wife were seized by that American assault force, likely either the Delta Force or SEAL Team 6, flown by the 160th Special Operation Aviation Regiment, the Night Stalkers, the most elite pilots in the world. It's notable.
The vice president, Delcy Rodriguez of Venezuela.
All right. So Delta Force got him and brought him to a one of the ships, and then they brought him to New York, and they got him in New York today. So
go Chuck Norris.
And he was also charged and got indicted, him and his wife.
Well, now, what court did he go to? Where did he go?
New York. The same place you had Epstein at. Southern District. Yeah. That was my first reaction. It's like, is he going to make it?
Well, it's not that he's going to make it. It's just like, damn. New York, huh? Well, the place of all where everything goes to not be prosecuted, along with Washington, D.C.
Well, I'm not sure how well that's going to go either, because the Democrats are obviously all upset about what happened here. Be honest with you, I don't know what to think about it altogether, because there's a lot of people that are really happy about it from Venezuela.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I mean, they're partying, and I get it. That dude's an ass. Get it.
Well, so here's the thing. Those people are actually have endured extreme communism, which means that if we do this, if we go into this, that means we'll accept a lot of these people into the United States, correct?
Actually, this is what I'm thinking might happen. If, let's say, they have regime change, if that actually happens, we're still waiting to see what happens. If it actually happens, a lot of these people might actually go back, because there's about 1 million in Chile. There's a couple million Venezuelans in the United States. There's some also throughout the Mexico and so on and so forth. A lot of them might actually go back, and that's actually a good thing overall. And it'd be a good thing for us. It'd be a good thing for Venezuela itself, because their problem is how small their population is for the size of the country.
So the thing is I was kind of like thinking, if we've declared war and then there's war and there'd be people displaced because of that. What now?
We didn't declare war.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever's going on over there.
Well, we're not. We don't even have troops on the ground now. Everybody's left. That's why they're asking who's actually running the country. Well, the thing is,
Marco Rubio's running it.
Well, Trump answers that right here in this video here. Let me go and bring it up.
We've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills 25, on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela. And that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. What do you think about that? It sounds like to me we're going to be rebuilding another country.
Well, I mean, what? Well, okay. So what needs rebuilding over there?
Well, first thing, their infrastructure's all screwed up since the whole time that the Maduro and Chavez administration was in there. They completely allowed it all to go to crap. And
where
did the money go? The money went in their pockets. They went into the pockets.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, most
the
of the
people
time,
they bought off and stuff like that. Even the equipment that they use for drilling is in disrepair.
Yeah, so most of the time we get involved rebuilding countries after that we like just, well, I guess not really, because you think about Ukraine, so I could be wrong on this. I thought most of the time we would get into that if we were involved in kinetic warfare that destroyed some of their infrastructure. We would go in there and build it back, but that's not the case, obviously, because we're involved in trying to rebuild Ukraine, and we're supposedly not involved with that. So
there's some success stories when it comes to rebuilding for us, such as Germany and also Japan. You know,
well, I mean, we can make money off of it. We'll make money off of it. We don't make money off that. What they're hoping for is we make money off the oil, but we're not going to make money off that either. We're not going to make money off that either. If you think about it, we didn't make money off of it in Iraq, Syria, Libya, or Afghanistan. Yeah, but see, the thing is like those are a little bit different. Those places are nuts. We never ever got anything really relatively done over in those places.
Well, are they really different? Not really. They all have oil. They all have population. They're all part of the third world, just like Venezuela. There's not much difference.
Yeah, but I mean, think about wait a minute.
The only difference is the religion, and also this is a communist, and they were not.
Thank you. There's a level of appreciation of us actually being there instead of a level of hatred, which means that our help is probably accepted, and meaning that there'll be positive repercussions possibly out of this, because those people. I've been sort of watching some of the footage, and you'll see some protests that the United States should be in, but those are all Maduro's.
I understand where you're coming from, but here's where I'm coming from. In the long run, can we afford it?
If we can break even, we'll be all right.
Well, the whole point is actually not to break even, is actually to do better than when we were beforehand.
But like you say, it'd be hard.
That's not going to happen, though.
That's not. If we break even, at least we get a hero notch under the belt. We didn't lose too much money.
I don't know. It sounds like you're seeing good in this. I don't.
No. I'm doing what you do to me all the time.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I understand.
And it's okay, because I'm just trying to figure out. There's a lot of things too that to be just said just outside of the fact that, yes, I mean, the drugs are one thing, but the drugs were just an excuse to do this. But I think, and I'm just reaching hard when I say this, which is not that hard because it's been proven. Venezuela has been behind election manipulation, not only in the United States, but in 72 other countries for up to 20 plus years, as a globalist effort to unify for unification under a global entity.
Well, that's the reason they took them alive.
Yeah. So, okay. So, here's the thing. One good thing about Venezuela when it comes to regime change, at least they got voting machines. They can
Well, here's my issue is I don't think we should be helping rebuild it. I don't think we should be helping actually control any of it. What we need to do is tell the administration that's in there right now, because the administration that was in there is still in there. Just the vice president's now president now. What you need to tell them is like this: look, y'all lost in the last election. So what needs to happen is you need to make a transition team to transition out and allow the new administration come in. And you know what? That's what they need to do. And we need to stay out of it and keep troops out of it. Because the more, if we have troops in there, there's a chance that there will be people there that are pro Maduro and pro communist that will attack us. You know, I'm telling, because the thing is, even though Japan and Germany was real successful when it comes to rebuilding, we still had people there that were attacking our troops at the time, especially at the beginning. And there was a resistance towards the Americans there at the time. So that's why I'm saying the idea there won't be any now is not true. There will be.
But if we get involved in rebuilding and restructuring their governmental things using our corrupt government, because it is, to help them form a not so corrupt government, which it will probably not be, we'll give a bunch of our deep state people something to mess with instead of our country. Maybe it'll kind of keep their hands busy. When they don't have nothing to deep state on, they start doing it over here too much.
Okay, that's a stretch.
Like all you do, yeah. It's like, gosh, why is our country going to tubes? We don't have anything for these deep state people to do, so they're deep stating over here. Here, you go down to Venezuela and deep state for a few years or two, and maybe we could get some stuff straightened out up here.
Well, these people you're talking about, they're all over the place.
I know.
So you think Venezuela's going to distract them? No. They'll just be like this. They're like a Hydra. They got plenty of heads that could be all over the place. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean, even a Hydra has got to be like, whoo, all my load is gone for a little bit. It's going to take a minute to kind of replenish. Woo.
It's not going to work. Yeah. No. Anyway, I got a video from Owen Schroyer he put out, and I think what he says here is pretty much dead on. It's what I was thinking when I was looking at it. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I wish I was a little bit more optimistic. I'm just not about it.
Get your Trump vodka.
All right.
Not liking the goatee version of this
12
guy.
hours, and President Trump has now made multiple public statements, including the official press conference from Mar-a-Lago on the regime change that just happened in Venezuela and the capture of President Maduro. Now, I want to talk about the important data points that we're going to be monitoring with this situation, but I want to first get into Trump's address just now in the aftermath. And I just want to talk about perception. I just want to talk about perception and attitude and just what it was like to listen, to watch. You know, it just feels like I'm listening to Bush again. It just feels like I'm listening to Obama again. It just feels like I'm listening to Biden again. Just deep state talking points, military industrial complex selling points, and the attempt to convince Americans that more unpopular foreign policy is a good thing and America first. Now we can get into the details of this, and you can debate the details or whether you support it or not. Just the perception, the attitude, the reception of it. It just feels like the same thing. It feels no different than when Bush would give these press conferences, or Obama would give these press conferences, or even Joe Biden would give these press conferences. You know, there's no real soul there. There's no real foundation there. And while I would say that Trump is probably being more honest and transparent about this stuff than the past administrations, it's nullified.
Yeah, at least it's saying it's actually about the oil.
Well, like I say, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people in Venezuela that are happy.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it.
The thing is like, you know, if I think that the plan is, I don't know if I might be reading into this wrong, but there's a lady that won the Nobel Peace Prize who's actually a really good lady. Is who
I
they
know.
want.
That's the person I said that Trump should actually get the woman
Yeah.
who's the president now to get ready for a transition. But anyway,
Yeah, because they were saying Trump should have won the Nobel Peace Prize, but she ended up getting it, and then she was actually kind enough to go and make a statement and say that she appreciates it. But she seems like and watching Mexico Scheinbaum get pissed off. The reason why she's so mad is because this is all a hub. They're all connected, and this is a big hiccup. And another thought, real quick, before you play more of 70s Owen Schroyer. I think what would be really interesting or sort of entertaining at this point in time would be to put Maduro in the same cell with Ghislaine Maxwell to see what happens.
they're not. She's in Texas anyway.
It doesn't matter. It'd be fun to do that though. Just kind of like watching.
He's gonna be fucking training dogs like she is.
Nullified by the fact that we weren't supposed to be doing this. It's nullified by the fact that we can't even arrest our own deep state. And we're going into Iran, we're going into Venezuela, we're letting regime change happen in Syria with the former leader of Al Qaeda. This is all happening with Netanyahu at the White House in Mar-a-Lago. So it's just the perception is not good, and I think the icing on the cake is
the perception is important. What he's talking about. Here's the other thing that's important. Yes, the Venezuelan people are happy. I'm sure a lot of people in Iraq, Afghanistan, and everybody else was fucking happy at the time too. But here's the issue. The biggest issue is, do we have the money to actually spend to actually do this and try to rebuild this country? And are we going to get the money back that we did it with? Probably not. And what got us into the financial straits we did these stupid ass wars we kept on getting into back in the 2000s, and now we're doing it all over again. Except it's with the president said he was running because he didn't want to get into any more of these wars, and he's doing it anyway. And not only is he doing it in Venezuela, it looks like we're going to probably get involved in Iran again. Why are we doing it? Because of Israel.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that we can. That there would be a wake up to the Trump administration and realize that the reasons why we get involved in Iran.
Well, Venezuela too.
Yeah, well, so.
Why do you think we didn't go to Mexico?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Why don't you think we did this to Mexico? Probably because the leader's Jewish.
Well, that could be I didn't even think about that. I just feel no. I didn't even that thought. I'm just more like I'm really thinking that like if Venezuela's been the hub for manipulating these elections, that's been Maduro's deep state. Like that's been his attack on multiple countries.
But here's the thing: it's not only about that; it's also about China, Russia, and Iran. China, Russia, and Iran. The fact is, Venezuela is a big big part of their plan when it comes to controlling the world with a lot of the resources, and that got taken away from them with this right here. And one of the things that the Chinese used to distract the Americans was Mexico. Mexico is a big part of that chessboard as well. And the thing is, when you look at 95% of the drugs in the United States, where do they actually come from? They're coming from Mexico. They're not coming from Venezuela. So that's how you know it's not about drugs. And
wait a minute. Hey, we need peace. Saw my video. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, Matt. Yeah, but you're right. There's a lot of distractions to play at this. I'm just
and the Democrats are saying the reason Trump did this is because it had to do with Epstein, which Epstein has nothing to do with this.
No, it doesn't.
It's like some people are trying to say this has like on the conservative side, this has everything to do with elections. No, it doesn't. It has. It's multifaceted. It's multifaceted, and most of it has to do with going after China and taking away this part of their plan to get AI dominance of the world. That is what this is, because you got to think about it. A lot of that oil, 80% of the oil that's coming from Venezuela is going to China. Taking that off the board for them hurts them a lot when it comes to the energy production to actually create AI for them. and they're in competition with us. So at some point or another, China is going to come back at us pretty hard when it comes to this. Not only that, I've also seen people try to say this has to do with the Monroe Doctrine. If you're going to do shit about the Monroe Doctrine, clean up the United States, stop allowing Chinese people buy U.S. land. Get that out of here. Stop allowing the illegals to come into the United States and then giving them free shit all the time. Stop doing that. I mean, start in the United States and work your way out. Don't start in Venezuela to actually enforce the Monroe Doctrine.
Well, okay, so we stop the hub of election manipulation. We start reducing the cost of energy, not energy independent, because it's not going to happen because of the amount of necessary use of the energy we're going to need for AI, but at least lower the cost of energy a little bit. Hopefully break even a little bit. We haven't declared war with Venezuela, so we haven't committed a war crimes. So
we don't need
wait a minute.
war now.
Wait a minute. Well, okay. So we got Maduro, and basically we don't have to. The only thing we probably really need to do is just update some infrastructure. I'm just kind of thinking of a plan here. Break even with Venezuela, hopefully stop China a little bit. That really, and that could actually affect the negotiations on tariffs if it plays out right, where we can actually have more favorable outcome on that.
Here's also the other thing you have to think about. If we're doing this in our own hemisphere, China's going to be like this. Look, if you can do that, we're going in Taiwan and we're taking those chips away from you, and then you're screwed when it comes to AI, aren't you? They have more play. They have more play on that. They could actually halt us on AI completely.
Well, you got to remember. Wait a minute. Here we go. Far stretch. Trump's uncle, who was that scientist who got all of Nikola Tesla's stuff.
I knew you were going to go. Weapons. I knew you were going to go there. Okay.
They're going to be able to separate Taiwan from the
first
China.
thing. First thing. No. Actually, no. You're wrong. You know what make more sense? Since he is Serbian, Nicolás Tesla, he might have documents in those briefcases they took that could tell us how they actually stole the 2020 election. How about that?
I didn't even think about that. That's really actually, I think you've nailed it.
Especially since the Serbians actually were involved in the election stealing anyway.
Huh. Yeah. I think you're definitely onto something.
Yeah.
70s Owen Schroyer could definitely take a page from this book right here.
Listening to Trump today is he's talking about how they're going to fix the Venezuelan economy, how they're going to free the Venezuelan people, how they're going to make Venezuela rich and fix their infrastructure. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, hello? Hi, I'm an American. You're the president of America. Our own infrastructure is collapsing.
Yep.
Our own economy is in the shitter, and our own people are slaves to foreign policy and special interests that we don't like and we don't vote for. And now you're telling me how you're going to help the Venezuelan people, which is all just BS anyway.
That's right.
And again, to Trump's credit, I mean, he told you this is a war for oil.
I mean, if you go back in the 60s, we overthrew a ton of governments at that time period. We said we're doing it to help those people. And who do we install? Majority of them were actually worse than the people that we actually uninstalled. A lot of them weren't even elected. We just put them in there. Perfect example is the Shah of Iran. So I completely agree with him with that. Every time we say we're doing it for the people of that country, no, that ain't the reason we did it. We're doing it for ourselves. That's the truth. And then at that point, what happens? You get a lot of discontent from the people that realize that they were used as a prop by the United States. And then they get pissed off and they become radicalized towards the United States. Then what happens? They vote for communists.
Maybe that won't happen this time. Damn. We're going to do it right this time, guys. This is going to happen. We're going to get it right.
You know what?
This is going to be the Oprah Winfrey of regime changers. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Everybody, we're going to have this is.
You sound like a socialist trying to convince me it'll work this time. Socialism will work this time.
No, it's going to work. No, it will. It's going to be all right. We got this, man. Yeah. I know the neat thing about Venezuela is near Cuba, so they probably could get some barons for a 53 Chevrolet Stovebolt 6-cylinder out of the whole deal.
That's another reason they did that. They think they could have like this, I don't know, some kind of like you had the I think it was 2014. You had the not summer love. What was it? The something spring, like the revolutions you had after in Egypt, Libya, so on and so forth. And they think they can get the same thing in South America. Good luck.
Well, yeah.
He told you this is a war for oil and this is a war for globalism. He told you that. They are now running the country. Trump said that we are going to run the country and we're going to run it in the interests of the special interests, the oil companies, and the foreign interests, to have geopolitical alignment as we go into the new age of AI and robotics and automation and digital currency and everything that's going to come with it. So, I mean, they're telling you the deal. The establishment is just seizing everything it possibly can before this new world that we're heading into right now becomes permanent. It's still shifting sands right now. So they're just seizing as much asset, gold, land, oil, because who knows what's going to happen financially. There could be a financial collapse. Who knows what will happen to human civilization? We really don't know when we enter this age. So they're just seizing as many assets as they can before this happens. So the perception of it was just like, here we go again. It might as well be Bush. It might as well be Obama. It might as well be Biden. But, okay, let's look at the actual data points of this. It's important to note, now it's crazy that China had a delegation in Venezuela as this is happening. I don't think that that's insignificant. Maybe it's coincidence, but that is the case.
The thing is, I think it was a coincidence because Trump came out and said on Fox News, the plan was actually to do this raid and go after Maduro 4 days ago, but they couldn't do it because of the weather.
Well, when you got to put a roof on too, you need to make sure it's not raining. So yeah, got a lot. Weather does play a factor.
Now, I think in Trump's eyes, he's always been against the military-industrial complex. He's always been against these regime change wars. He's for them now, whether that's because of some other influence or his own decision-making. But Trump has launched a trade war with China. And for the most part, it hasn't really been a success story. So now, because the U.S. economy is not improving, and Joe Biden did deplete our strategic oil reserves, now Trump has to make a power play against China. So he needs to cut off a source of energy, Venezuela, and cut off a source of support, Venezuela, from China. So I think that in Trump's eyes, this is a geopolitical maneuver to try to counterbalance or push against this trade war with China that has mostly been unsuccessful. So I think that is one strategy in Trump's eyes here, where maybe he normally wouldn't like this stuff, but he feels like this is kind of a power play in what has, for the most part, been a failed trade war with China, to maybe see if this can't rearrange some pieces on the board in his favor. Now we'll see if the rearrangement here is in his favor, but there's no doubt that the U.S. economy is not good and energy prices are not low. And so now you can go in there and we can basically just steal all the oil, is what they're saying they're going to do. So we can bring energy prices down, take more control of the oil trade in the region and in the East and with China. Now, there will obviously be an equal and opposite reaction from China on this, but okay, maybe this will help the economy a little bit, and maybe it'll help bring energy prices down a little bit, which Trump is desperate to do because the U.S. economy has been one of the biggest failures thus far. Now, again, you can blame that on him or somebody else, but that's just the case. The U.S. economy is maybe some of the worst times that it's ever been for some people. The middle class is pretty much gone. It's the haves and have-nots. So you need to bring energy prices down. You need to make a move in your trade war with China, you go into Venezuela, you take their oil. It's also not insignificant that it seems every time one of these things happens, it's right after Netanyahu meets with Trump. So Netanyahu was with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and now we're getting regime change in Iran. Of course, we know that the lady they want to replace Maduro with is a full-on Zionist. She is in bed with Israel. She's in bed with Netanyahu. And we know that the Israeli lobby is going for full control on the board, like a game of Risk in South America. And they've already gotten Milei and so many others. And so now they're going after.
Yeah, the president of Chile, he's a Zionist as well. And so is the president of Panama and a few others.
Maduro. And of course, you always use the U.S. military to do that, because if you're Israel and you can, why wouldn't you? You don't have to use your people to fight these wars. Why not use the American people to do it? They've been really successful with that over the years. So they're just doing it again. Now, I am wondering how they were able to do this with little to no resistance. Now, the official story is, obviously, we've all seen the major military presence on the coast of Venezuela. But basically the story is they went in there with little to no resistance, and Maduro, I guess, and his wife were trying to flee at the last moment into some steel bunker, and they couldn't get there, or the military yanked them out of there, whatever. You're telling me there was no resistance at all? Which, hey, let's all celebrate. Not a single American died. Not a single piece of American equipment was damaged. But you're telling me that there was literally no resistance to taking Maduro and his wife? None?
You know why there wasn't resistance?
One of two things. Either they wanted Maduro out, and that was the way there was some sort of plan. This would make the U.S. look good and work together and get him out. So it was sort of like making it kind of like theater, or they just didn't have a military that could actually do anything.
No, they got paid off. The Secret Service, the CIA's been there for a while, looking for ways to actually get in there and get into Maduro's camp. And I think Trump used them as well as other groups to pay off some of his commanders that were controlling the air defense, because they have an air defense system there. And it got completely shut down during the time.
That's welcome to communism. See, that's the thing that communists don't realize is, like, your only alliance is money. So that means you've got $1 pretty quick. It's a good indication of what communism does. Maduro thought he was safe. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. It looks like they bought off most of his commanders, except for, I think, a few. And that's why they had to use about 7 Tomahawk missiles and took out a few places that had, military hardware, and then after that, they're good sailing. Matter of fact, majority of Maduro's security force are not even Venezuelan. Most of them are either Cuban or supposedly Iranian, and either they got killed during this raid by the Delta Force, or they were in on getting money and they just left him. They left him to his own devices. I'm not sure which one it is.
And I dared Maduro to get upset that they actually turned on him. Like, look, dude, I took the money. You take the money. We take the money. We're supposed to take the money. I took the money. So Maduro would be like, yeah, I kind of understand. I'm taking the money too, he says. So that's communism for you. You know, you don't, when you live in a communist society, loyalty is very hard to come by because it's so cutthroat.
They're always killing each other.
Yeah, it's really cutthroat society down there, you know, and it's who's got it's almost like a relationship when you have like a boyfriend girlfriend thing, and whoever's got the bigger bag gets to have the girlfriend kind of a thing. You know, she's going to go wherever the bigger dope bag is. Weird analogy, but that's where you're at, you know. Yeah.
And if I'm supposed to believe this is some sort of a drug kingpin, you're telling me that the drug kingpin's military did nothing to support him and to defend him? There's literally no security around him. So that's kind of curious. He's just running around on his own as the president of Venezuela, or the number one drug kingpin in the world. That doesn't really add up to me, but that's the official narrative. So I don't know. I guess you could think that maybe they stood down, or I think it's maybe more likely that Trump cut a deal with Maduro, and Maduro gave him the green light to do this because it was the best option for him. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more answers on that. But now let's talk about the data points that were being sold. Oh, well, this is to stop all the deadly drugs from coming in. Oh, okay.
Well, if that's true, Maduro made a deal with him. Maybe the deal is, hey, you allow us to go in there, arrest you, bring you here, and you go ahead and plead guilty for a drug offense. But then we'll put you in security to protect you, and we're going to use you to actually tell the truth about what's going on with elections the last decade when it comes to Venezuela actually messing with 72 elections worldwide.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to see what it looked like when they went in there and got Maduro? I have images of that.
Oh yeah, I got images too, but okay, I'll throw it up there. We'll go back to the video in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell?
Yep, here it is right here. Let me zoom in right quick here. This is actual imagery right here.
Don't play the music. Don't play the music.
It's AI. Oh yeah. So there's I think they sent in Fat JD Vance. Yeah.
With Superman powers.
And a fishnet. Yeah. He was just sitting there chilling, and all of a sudden, boom, here comes Fat JD Vance, and he's this is how you go after a mofo right here. He's sending the Fat JD Vance. This is where, I love these. So the left tries to meme us, and we have now hijacked their memes. We have Maduro their memes. We have Venezuela. We have hijacked their memes. We have changed their memes regime into our thing. Yep.
Okay. Now, he did specifically mention fentanyl and the fentanyl deaths. Folks, 95% of the fentanyl comes from Mexico. It doesn't come from Venezuela. It comes from Mexico. And the vast majority of that is actually sourced from China. So Venezuela is maybe 1% of the fentanyl getting in. Maybe 1%. So I'm sorry, that just doesn't add up. And if we're all about tackling the big drug dealers and the deadly drugs that Americans are in this case forced to consume, when are we going after big pharma? When are we going after the COVID vaccine that has killed hundreds of thousands of people?
Trump took him a new booster shot the other day.
That logic doesn't get applied universally, so therefore it's not logic, it's propaganda. And by the way, in the 25-page indictment, fentanyl is not mentioned in the entire indictment, and neither is oil. And Trump said this is all about fentanyl and oil. It's literally not even mentioned in the official indictment of Maduro. Okay. Trump mentions how Maduro was sending people over our southern border. Well, again, that's Mexico. So the fentanyl is coming from Mexico. The invasion is coming from Mexico, not from Venezuela. Mexico. Why isn't Trump going after Scheinbaum? Why aren't the drug cartels in Mexico dealing with the might of our military? They're the ones at our border. That's where the fentanyl comes from. That's where the illegals come from.
All the drugs.
And perhaps the most glaringly obvious.
All the cartel. Well, okay. So the reason why we're not doing that is because there's too many of them in the United States, the cartel members. That's going to be an issue. If you go for the ones in Mexico, the ones in the United States do really weird things to infrastructure because there's a lot of cartel members in the United States.
Well, that kind of goes with my opinion. You start in the United States, throw these people out, start actually taking your country back from the cartels that are supposedly here, which I don't know how much I believe that. But anyway, I think they have home bases in the United States, but I'm not sure how many of them are actually cartel members or if they're just, satellites and third parties. But anyway, get them out of the United States, arrest them, so on and so forth. And then you can start branching out. It doesn't make any sense starting Venezuela, which doesn't have anything to do with the problem that we got here right now. It seems like it's all about AI to me when you look at the base reason why we did it.
Yeah, and well, it goes back to the agenda for the globalists.
And you know what? I'm not for that agenda. I'm not for AI.
No, me neither. No,
and so that's what irritates me about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Agreeable.
Question here is, if we can go in and capture Maduro, the president of Venezuela, how come Alejandro Mayorkas hasn't been arrested? Mayorkas is the one that let 20 million people into this country illegally. Mayorkas is the one that let all the fentanyl into this country. Mayorkas is the one that let all the gang members into this country. Why aren't we going after Mayorkas? He's the criminal here. He's potentially the biggest traitor in the history of this country. The damage done by Mayorkas' open border is likely permanent. We can't undo it. So how can we go into Venezuela and use our military to do that so successfully, and we can't even get Alejandro Mayorkas? If it doesn't add up, you know it's corrupt. And of course, you know, the one positive that people are taking away from this, and there's no doubt it's true, is that we were able to do this in a matter of hours, whereas past regime change wars have taken years and trillions of dollars. So I guess Trump is at least doing regime change wars in an efficient and effective way to not drain our military and our people of our blood and treasure. But yet the result is still the same. Now, here's what's going to be funny in the aftermath. And we've already seen some of the remnants of the Maduro regime and military leadership come out and make these statements. And Putin has made these statements as well. We'll see if Putin wants to take a side or offer anything as far as the capture of Maduro is concerned. But Putin has said such things. And now you have remnants of the Maduro regime and military coming out and making statements today. And you know what they're saying? They're saying, America, you have a deep state. This is another deep state action from America. How ironic, how hilariously ironic that here we are, MAGA, the Trump administration, all about arresting the deep state, stopping all the globalist proxies. And now the people that we're told are our enemy in Venezuela and Russia are basically saying what we said. They're basically saying the exact same campaign things that we just said, really, for 8 years. The deep state, the proxy wars, and now Putin and Venezuelan regime, what's left of it from Maduro, they're trying to speak to the American people. They're saying, you have a deep state. Your deep state is doing this. Now, okay, you can say, well, they're just saying that to cater to you, whatever. But isn't it true? Isn't it true? So how ironic is that? The very thing that Trump campaigned on and that we voted for, stopping the deep state, now the people that we're at war with are trying to tell the American people, hey, you've got a deep state. And now we're just going along with it. Now we love it. See, the deep state is good now because there's a new hat. And the deep state is good now. It's the same infrastructure. It's the same apparatus. It's doing the same things, but there's new players on the field. So it's good now. This is what MAGA is supposed to believe and preach.
I'm America
and
first,
fall
by the
in
way.
line with. So to me, it doesn't really add up.
All right. Now, the other thing also I have here is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I got it's an article. Marjorie Taylor Greene rips Trump's strikes on Venezuela. MAGA thought they voted to end this. Boy, were we wrong. Look, I'm happy for the Venezuelan people. They're getting a new lease on life without having that dictator asshole in office. I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'd be a hypocrite if I said that this is great for America because I don't see any evidence that that's true.
Election manipulation.
Look, the fact is, we already have all that information anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and going into Venezuela, you know, and we have all the whistleblowers from Venezuela that was involved in it.
And the thing is, the CIA are keeping that from being brought to the table. You know, Patrick Byrne goes into very great detail about how there's a man that wants.
Here's the thing about Patrick Burns. I like Patrick Burns. I've shown some of his videos. You got to remember, he's CIA.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you're CIA, you're always CIA. So the thing is, he puts a lot of truth out there, but he also puts a lot of bullshit too. Not only that, he's fed bullshit sometimes too, and he thinks it's true. So, that's all I'm saying. I don't think the CIA. I think the CIA probably doesn't think Trump has jack shit. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm not even sure if Trump has anything. I mean, if this was about elections, this was crazy then. I mean, that tells me he didn't have enough evidence to actually prove it. That means he needed Maduro to prove it. And that's if Maduro even knows anything about it. Because you got to remember at the time, when these election machines and these programs, yes, Hugo Chavez was doing that.
Yeah.
It wasn't Maduro. So, in my opinion, he might not even know anything about it. He just used the apparatus that Chavez had. Just saying.
Best case scenario, while we were in there, we got some information that Maduro didn't know through some sort of information like sector, maybe, hopefully.
Maybe.
Reaching deep. I'm reaching deep.
But here's a video right here from Venezuela. They're partying here. I want to show that because, you know, there's good things that happen here. I don't want to ignore that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm happy for them. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, in the long run, will it benefit us? In the long run, will it benefit them? I don't know yet. We have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
For all they know, they might get a leader that's worse than him. You know, with our track record, it wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, it happens. That is a definite thing. Like we're like, great, Klaus Schwab has stepped down from the World Economic Forum leader. Well, guess who's in now? Larry Fink. Like, oh.
I think him and some other guys acting right now until they find someone to replace him. I think it's not Larry Fink, it's someone else. Larry Fink and someone else. Which, if y'all guys don't know Larry Fink, he's head of BlackRock. So,
and also owned a couple of really intricate buildings in 9/11 that got strategically removed.
Did he own them at the time?
Mm-hmm.
You're sure?
Okay.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. But I guess we could go ahead and go to this next story I found, which, you know, I've been covering the Somalia thing going on with the fraud and stuff with the daycares, the EBT, and also Medicare, Medicaid. You know, they've been taking money from all sorts of shit.
Oh, did you wait? Well, did you see the video where the girl comes out and goes, "I did not mean any harm to Elon Musk.
Yes,
I was merely concerned about his health."
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh, wait a minute. Actually, I got another video I want to show first as to the Venezuela thing. And this is actually another good thing that the U.S. is going to get out of this. And I agree with what this guy's saying here.
Tell me how this news is being received in Iran. How's it being received in Russia? How's it being received in China?
All three predictably will deplore this kind of activity publicly. Privately, they will be impressed with the military capability here. I would argue none of those three militaries could have executed an operation like this. And again, we tend to just breeze by this. But the idea of finding, fixing, kidnapping, taking him out alive with his wife, no casualties on the side of the U.S., that's an extraordinary military operation. So I think while there will be a lot of public condemnation of the United States, predictably from those three nations, privately they'll be saying to themselves, that's a very capable military. That's not a bad thought to pop up in Beijing, Moscow, and Tehran these days.
Except for the fact that like places like See, China has genetically engineered soldiers that we don't even know about. Those people are nuts.
That ain't true either. But they haven't, CRISP hasn't been completely mastered yet. But when it comes to that, they're right. They are completely right about that part, what he just said. Because the fact is, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, none of these countries would be able to do what we just did there. And that's, I agree with that. And the thing is, it's a direct contrast to what Biden did when we got out of Afghanistan. That was a complete screw up boondoggle, and I think it was done on purpose, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, of course it was done on purpose.
But this right here looked like something completely different. It was like these people were actually competent. That's what it looked like, and that's a good thing overall when it comes to military way. Because people are going to see that and be like, yeah, they got a strong military. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we shouldn't do that. It'll make them rethink attacking American soldiers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing overall.
Well, that's I thought about that as well. Having the display, because there's a lot of flack that the Americans catch because we don't have the same kind of military parade that like Xi Jinping puts on and stuff, where he shows these really well organized, military maneuvers in the public. And then we had ours, and it didn't even look that good, and so that made us look really weak. And so a lot of foreign countries made fun of our military parade that Trump had. Going, look, they didn't even fly their drones; they had the military people just carrying them around. And so on the face, that's like I'm just kind of putting pieces together because I wasn't really sure what to think about it either. But now that gets mentioned, you're sitting there like, yeah, look how incompetent the United States military is. Dirk or dirk or dirk. And then we go in there and we're like, flip, 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 out. Boop.
Yeah.
And so
you look at Russia, like you can't even defeat Ukraine, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Putin is just doing that on purpose or is that the best he can do?
Well, here's the thing. They have lost, I think altogether, there's over 2 million deaths from that war. And I think it's
like both sides combined you're talking about.
Yeah, both sides, a little over 2 million. And at least 1 million of them are soldiers from Russia. So a lot of that has to do with the technology we gave them to use and stuff like that. And now Russia's not having as many soldiers. They're not losing as much as they were before because most of that came at the beginning. But here's the thing. Are they as capable now? They're more capable now than they were at the beginning because they hadn't been in a war in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Now they're a little bit more capable. I think if you had the same forces you have now start at the beginning, they would have gotten where they at way sooner because they would know how to fight. They've been in a actual fight at the time. Well, I mean, a majority of those kids that were involved in it hadn't been in war, so they didn't know anything, and a lot of them were just brand new recruits too. Like they used some of the bottom of the barrel for the trainees.
Yeah.
But okay, let's go ahead and go to this other story that had to do with the Somali fraud case. Well, it's more than a case. It's happened throughout the United States. Here's the thing. I've been looking into it. I think it's a psyop. And I'll tell you why. It's been going on since 2014, 2013. It just now started getting big. Why? Well, guess what they found in Somaliland, which just got recognized as a country by guess who?
Oh, so this is going to be rare earth minerals, and they're all by Israel, by the way.
Yes, Israel and the United States and the UAE are recognized.
And so they bought a piece of land to throw a bunch of these crazy people that they want to move out of one area into another.
No. Keep up. Let me tell you a story. What happened? What happened is Somalia has been in civil war for about, I don't know, a couple decades now. Well, the war's about over, and they have separated into 3 different countries: Somalia, Putinland, or something like that, Puntland, and then Somaliland. Right? Well, Somaliland was they are, at the time when it was a colony, it was taken over by the British, so they speak a lot of English. The Putinland was controlled by the Italians, and the Somalis themselves controlled Somalia. Well, anyway, after the colonies left, the colonial powers left, they decided to merge back into one country. Then they had way big differences to each other, such as religion and also practices when it comes to, I don't even know how to put it, sex, stuff like that. Okay.
Don't screw your sister, but why? Why?
So the Civil War started, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now Somaliland is being recognized, and they found oil there. Well, Israel has also made a deal with them that they would actually help them protect them by putting an Israeli base in Somaliland. Well, guess what's directly across Somaliland?
Isn't it like Iran or something like that?
No.
I don't know.
I'll show you the map. Hold on. I got a map of it. Okay, come on.
Indiana. Minnesota, Minneapolis, Indiana.
I'm looking for it. Just there you go. Okay.
Texas.
All right. Here's Somaliland here. Right direct across from it, Yemen. Guess who's in Yemen? The Houthis.
Oh.
That's why they want it. So they could actually
don't
bomb
go fuck with them Houthis.
They want to be able to bomb the Houthis, to be closer to the Houthis to bomb
them. Well, the United States will get to do it, though. They'll be like, we got to do a base. You send your people over there and have you a good time. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the idea. This is what people were saying. They believe that what's really pushing the story is actually the Zionists in the media itself, pushing the story in order to get the United States people and everything else being mad at Somalia. So we would actually encourage and hopefully help end the civil war in Somalia, which it's almost ended since. And the thing is, the catalyst that really ended it is pretty much the fraud that came out that's true, because a lot of people got upset about it, and it just shut down a lot of the weapons trafficking there.
Can we send them back?
I don't know, but anyway, I don't think most of them didn't come from Somaliland. They actually came from Somalia.
So, whatever. Can we just send them back? Same thing. Just here, y'all figure it out.
No, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So, anyway, they're 2 different countries now. But anyway, so they believe it's distraction for the American people, so Israel can get in and get that oil, and with the United States help, and also so they can actually take out the Houthis as well, so they'll be closer to them, instead of actually using bombs across the pretty much across Israel, also Iraq, Saudi Arabia, so on and so forth.
Yeah, they can make a bigger warhead, so they make the fuel tank
what it does, it gives them less time to actually see the warhead and be able to shoot it out of the sky.
Yeah,
and so that's part of that, and also it also allows Israel to have an opportunity to get some people on the ground, like the Mossad, there as well.
So I did a video a week or so ago, and I based it on the fact that there was a lot of information that was being brought back to the table related to election manipulation. And so I was close, but not quite. I said, all of this Somali fraud's coming out. The name of the video was all of the Somali fraud coming out. What are we being distracted from? And I knew that it seemed like something was strange back, when it first started coming out, being a really big thing. To where I said, "Is it because of all of this?" And I pointed to election manipulation and stuff. But it looks like I was partially right, but just a little bit not quite hitting the arrow, the bullseye. So you remember that, Matt? When I did that video a few weeks ago. What are we being distracted from?
I
And it
guess.
was,
Yeah.
it was a week or so ago, and I was like, I knew something did seem a little bit wonky, being the fact that this is something that's been known for so long, but nothing being done about it. But now it's a big thing. It gives you a lot of distractions, not only from what you're talking about, but just the fact that Pam Bondi's doing nothing, and I
Yeah.
feel like this just takes the heat off of a lot of people because we're just worried about this.
Well,
And
let's go ahead and take a look at this video here. This guy talking about it for a minute.
How is the Israeli Mossad related to the recent corruption that was discovered in Minnesota? You're not going to believe it, but there actually is a substantial connection, and it runs through the Israeli Prime Minister office. I'll start from the end. Israel just established relationships with Somaliland, which is not Somalia. But the backstory to the whole Minnesota corruption story is that much of those funds, and again, I think the initial number that came out is about $9 billion. Again, this is crazy. American taxpayer money of, let's say, $15 billion that they imagine were stolen or misdiverted from public funds. About 9 billion of those were sent back to support terrorism, or what they would call the Muslim Brotherhood actions, and this is tied into Qatar. And Israel, of course, was behind the scenes, and I know people love these conspiracies, in leaking some of the information that is responsible or related to the funding of terrorism using that exact money. So the fact that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has a phone call and recognizes Somaliland is tied into Qatar being a supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, tied into the Somali funds that were stolen in Minnesota funding terrorism in the Middle East. That is a story that came out right now. It really blows my mind how global terrorism works, but it's such an amazing thing that it was uncovered, and I'm sure there's more news to come on this topic.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well,
so wait a minute. So it's the Jews again.
Well, let's look. I'm not the one that's saying it's the Jews again. Look. It's not. It's Israel again. That's number one. Number two, it's not my fault that it seems like they're power players in everything that we do that happens in the world, man. That's what it seems like in a way.
Yeah. So you know how the Somalians are all like like y'all are just making it all about Somalias and everything. We can't help it that y'all are doing all the fraud. And now whenever we point out it's the damn Israel people government, how dare you talk about the Jews? Well, it's not my fault. I'll be doing this shit all the time.
Here's the thing. They're not the only ones doing fraud. I did a video about Massachusetts and the Haitians
bunch
doing
of white
it
people
there.
Oh God, they're Haitians. I thought it'd be the white people.
And
forgot about those. Hey, wait a minute. Did the Haitians run out of cats to eat?
Anyway, the Haitians did it. The Haitians did it in Massachusetts, and then you have Ohio, which is the Somalia population supposedly, and there's other. I'm pretty sure there's other people involved in it too. Not only that, the people who are facilitating it are the politicians. Majority of them are probably white, more likely.
Okay, that just like gangs.
Gangs.
Yes. Not like yes. Okay, so you see a bunch gangs and high level drug like sales and distribution on the streets. Most of the time, yes, you see black people sorry about the stereotype, but it's just kind of what it is. When you go to the inner cities, it's gang members, and they're black and they have gang leaders and all that. But there's actually a driving force behind a lot of this, and it's a bunch of rich white people because it's a way for them as the hub for their sales of their product. And you may or may not be politicians, but either way, it's rich white people.
Probably, yeah. I mean, whenever you have a product that's wanted, there's always going to be someone entrepreneur behind it. Now, whether they're white or not, I don't know if that's true or not. For all I know,
Well, I'm just saying, well, okay.
If you look at the Mexican gangs, majority of them are going to be Mexican people that are involved in that.
Yeah, but they're going to be the white people of the Mexican people.
You're talking about they have more European DNA, is what you're saying.
No, I was actually going a little more racist than that.
Well,
what I mean by that, no, hold on, I'm not done being. Hold on, not capital R, because what I'm getting at is if you go to Mexico and the Mexican gang, and then you go to the leaders of that gang, they're the ones that have the suits and the ties and look all debonair and everything. Which I shouldn't even say it's the white people, those people, but I was only being facetious and kind of joking a little bit.
Well, here's the thing: when it comes to people that are in South America and Mexico, they're not really a what I call race. Because
I've seen Univision. I've seen Univision. I've seen some really white people who like.
Well, I mean, Vicente Fox, the former the president of Mexico when George Bush was in, was 6'4". I don't know any Mexicans that are that tall, and the thing is, it's because he had mostly European DNA in him. You know what I'm saying?
I was just thinking of a joke for myself.
Yeah, I mean, if you look out throughout the South America, Mexico, and stuff, it's more like a melting pot, kind of like the United States itself. There's all sorts of people that live there. There's brown, black, white. There's also Asians. I mean, the second largest population of Japanese is actually in Brazil.
Every time I hear the word Brazil, I think about a brawl.
All right. Let's see. Well, I got one more video for you before we end the show.
As the World Economic say, for the greater good. Yeah, we need peace. Yeah, I've seen that. That's very true. Oh, the F around and found this meme just keeps giving.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. See, as you can see,
the graph doesn't lie.
The more you're going to find out.
Well, there was videos of Maduro sitting there going, "Come for me, la 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 la." He was talking big old shit.
Yeah,
I was like, "Damn, okay." He had a lot of trust in his people, but they didn't realize that all it took was like $20 because communism. The funny thing is, like, how much did they pay you? He asked his people that were supposed to protect him. It was like $35, and De Blasio offered me a cheeseburger and fries.
They pay me $30, and they said if you're gone, they'd bring McDonald's back.
That or better yet, they were like, "We'll give you these COVID shots; they'll be free." And they were like, "Really?" And then,
dude, that place is full of COVID. Come on, that place is so inundated with the shots. Not even funny.
We'll give you a hamburger and fries, $20 and a COVID shot. You'll turn over on Maduro. And they're like, "See, I was gonna do it for $20, but since you want to heat, to really, up the ante, I'm down with that. Would you like me to change your oil too? I've got the tool in the truck." The truck, actually, is how they would say that down there. Tim Waltz needs to be arrested for hiring that guy to assassinate that woman.
Why are you saying
allegedly?
That?
It's alleged.
Yeah, but it's not true.
That guy wrote a letter and said it was to the FBI.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay. That don't make it true. Do you believe the pop bomber? Do you believe the DC pop bomber is actually DC pop bomber? I hope not.
Well, he didn't write a letter saying he did it.
No, but the FBI is telling you in a letter that he did it. So since it's on a letter, that means it's official, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
The FBI told me, so it's true. So don't come at me, internet, bro.
That's all I'm saying. I don't look when it comes to the pipe bomber. It's another example of how this DOJ that Trump has are pretty much worthless. Because, all right, did you hear this story? What happened here? They decided they told the court, like, look, we want to extend it past the 6, which statute of limitations to 6. And the court's like, and his lawyers are like this. Nope, we ain't doing that. We're going to go ahead and do the hearing today on the 30th to get everything done to actually decide whether or not he's going to have to stay in jail or not. Well, Trump's DOJ got freaked out, and so they went to a lower court and got a grand jury to indict him. Guess what happens to that lower court's indictment? That's from a grand jury. The higher court does not have to take it. Right?
Exactly. It's all a dog and pony show, which is for the wrong guy to begin with.
Which is funny. Not only that, this judge has decided, hey, you have autism. You never committed a crime before. And might I add, you have OCD and you have some other issues. You can't see very good. Guess what? We're going to keep you in jail until we actually have a trial. That's if it even comes. And the thing is, if that judge decides to not to take that indictment, then at that point, that judge more likely is going to throw out that case altogether. And then if they want to present that case again, they're going to have to do it after statute of limitations. And let's say if he is the one that did it, I mean, he gets off scot-free because statute of limitations is over. Not only that, anyone that actually did it, which I don't think it's him, this tells you how bad the DOJ is. Right there's another example of how they suck. And why we need to actually get rid of Pam Bondi and the rest of these jackals and get some people in there that are competent.
Dude, I said that in my video I put out earlier. I did 3 videos consecutively and kind of released them in 4-hour segment. The last one was the chick who was talking junk about Elon Musk and then making this video about how she was so such and such. And at the end of that video, I said, by the way, can somebody please do something about Pam Bondi and get Trump to such and such? And this person said, in a really smart alecky remark, was like, this isn't a movie like NCIS and stuff. This is real deal going on. And how dare you talk about Pam Bondi? And then went bye-bye, like they were unsubscribing. And I was thinking, right off in the dummy land you go. Because I thought about commenting back. I thought about commenting back.
Do it, and say, you must be a Ducks and April fan.
I'm going to add that. I'm going to comment back. I'm going to add that. That's good. But my comment was going to be how about take a lesson out of Merrick Garland's playbook? Because he came in there and 5 minutes later arrested every damn body. And you go, well, none of us, those cases are still going on. And people are getting convicted under his crap. 5 minutes later, he was like, waste no time. Say what you want about Merrick Garland, but that fool arrested everybody.
Are you talking about J6ers?
There were some arrests. He did.
You're talking about J6ers. Look, if you talk to the left, they think he's worthless because he didn't get Trump soon enough because it waited too long. And the thing is, they think if he would have started a year earlier, they would have actually got him in court in DC and would have gotten a conviction. Which I don't know if that's the case or not. But the thing is, I think it doesn't really matter what side you're on. You see things and you're like this. It could be better. We need to get someone else in there. My point is the grass is always greener on the other side.
But when it comes to Bondi, anybody could say this is wrong. Anybody could say, look, something's wrong here.
Yeah, I mean,
except for Ducks and April. Ducks and April's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, I mean, when you screw up 3 cases now, right? The first 2 are the 2 that really pisses me off, and that's Comey and Letitia James. When you piss those off and screw them up, and then this one here with the pipe bomber, whether he's it or not, it's been screwed up from hell. And then you have what's going on with Adam Schiff, what's going on with Swalwell and also
Brennan.
Brennan right now they're dealing with that in Florida, and right now I have faith that might actually happen. We'll see what happens there, but who knows? That might actually get some of these other people too that we're talking about. People like Comey, Clapper, and others.
We need peace. If EP didn't make it in jail, how do you think Maduro's going to make it? I know, especially if he's going to come clean on some stuff that has to do with the deep state's election manipulation.
Well, you know who else was in the same jail and they survived?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me think here.
Starts with a P.
Starts with a P?
P. Diddy.
Well, that's because, yeah. So, okay. That's a different case because I think that, like,
I'm just telling you, P. Diddy was in there. That's all I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. I be honest with you. I think Maduro's going to survive in there because they want him there. They want him to stay. I don't think there's people in some parts of government that didn't want Epstein there.
Well, here's the difference: is Maduro didn't work for Mossad like Epstein did. And so Epstein's not really dead. Here's the thing. Epstein didn't only work for Mossad. He worked for CIA. He had plenty of others that wanted him gone. That's not including billionaires that wanted him gone too. So he didn't spill the beans about what was going on in those islands too. Let's just say he had a lot more people than Maduro did. Yeah, Maduro didn't do a bunch of genetic engineering or like, what do you call it? Well, because yes, there was human trafficking and there was flexual things going on, but when they really find out about the baby farms and the stuff like Peter Nygaard was into, that's where it gets really weird, and that's what they don't want coming out.
I don't know. All right, guys, we're gonna have to end the show. Really appreciate it. Please hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody. And hopefully we'll see you again, unless William gets me deleted off YouTube. We'll see.
He's not going to get deleted off YouTube. We're good. We got this. They love us. Bye.